This episode is sponsored by Some Edibles CBD infused products. That's SUM Edibles and can be found at someedibles.com. They have a variety of yummy treats, including
vegan organic gummies,
brown buttered chocolate chip cookies,
and marshmallow cereal bars, just to name a few.
For fans of the podcast, you can use the promo code WIFE, that's WIFE, to receive 10% off your order.
Again, promo code WIFE for 10% off your order.
So, head to someedibles.com today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Drunken Housewife Reviews. I'm Sarah, the Drunken Housewife.
And our host husband, Ian, who tries to keep her from going too much off the rails.
Yeah, and it's a full-time job. We're rocking Irish coffee today because it's trying to snow and it's cold. So Irish coffee is key. So just a little sip because it's hot.
And who do we have with us today?
Today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Brad Rigler.
Yay.
Welcome, Brad, to our insanity.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, there you are.
We're hoping you're going to participate into the interview, dude.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be there.
So what are you doing today?
Today, I sell solar panels. And so I've got to go. I'm in Avon selling solar panels, but obviously I have to keep my appointment, because I got Ian is flying all over the country, Mr. On the Move, the jet setter that he is. I gotta jump on and figure out any chance I get to get on the show. I want to be part of the Drunken Housewife thing, obviously. So I'm happy to be here.
All right.
We're happy you're here.
So Brad is the man, the myth, the legend for.
Well, he's a very good stand-up comedian.
Yes.
He hosts multiple comedy venues at times and has performed with a few big names, and has his own company, and which is the host of the Roast War Championships, one of the best roast battle shows. That's right. And how'd you end up in comedy,
the best
sir?
Roast battle. Well, I think the Roast War Championship is the best roast battle show in all comedy.
Well, of course it is.
Not to edit, but at the same time, the roast battle show is probably the best one. It's the only touring one that I'm aware of. It's the only one ever inside of a steel cage. So there's that. And it's we're everybody wants to see more about and it's real. Everybody doesn't believe me when I say it's in a steel cage. They're like, oh, they think it's like figurative. They think it's some sort of a hyperbole. It's not. There's really a steel cage.
Oh, yeah.
And we throw popcorn. And it gets crazy. It's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, meets UFC, and it's like the UFC for comedians, except instead of punches, they're throwing punchlines, and we're all over the place. We're in Louisville next Friday.
And
March 4th.
Date? March 4th. Yes.
Yeah, March 4th. We're in Louisville, and then after that, we have a couple dates scheduled. Like our big market right now, where we got a lot happening, is down in Charlotte, North Carolina, a place called Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is just outside of Charlotte.
Yes.
And I work with a guy down there named Chris Corrado, who runs. I mean, this guy's one of the most prolific showrunners I've ever run across. This guy's running 15 shows a week. These are all indie shows.
Wow.
And he's always running it's amazing. And Chris Corrado is doing a lot of shows down there. And so he's brought me on. I've had a partner down there. And he's bringing me down there every couple months to put on a Roast War Championship. And it's really taken off down there. So it's pretty exciting as far as, we're pretty happy about the show. And it has legs. So it's not just here in Indy. As a matter of fact, the only market that I'm not solid in is Indy. And that's where I live. It's weird because like everywhere else, it's hard to get a venue. And the truth of the matter is, we're in Pittsburgh, we're in Baltimore, we're in Louisville.
Yes.
Obviously the Carolinas. We're all over the place, but we don't really have a we've run a lot of shows. We always had successful shows. It's just hard to get a solid venue here in Indy. That's all.
Oh yeah, the shows that I've been to and helped with have always been awesome, and everybody has a great time. I'm not understanding the reticence about places not wanting to host us. It's like, are you not wanting money to come in, or not wanting people to have a good time? It's like it's been a great thing. Whenever I've been involved in it.
Yeah,
it sucks whenever I'm not involved. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, and you think they would want to support local, talent.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like I don't get it.
It's like anything else. There's a lot. It's not that anybody wants. It's just a matter of timing and all the rest of it. We can always run it someplace, but the COVID's messed it up because we had a really good spot, and we may still be. I'm actually heading to Avon right now. Red Curve. We had a sold-out show last time at Red Curve Comedy, which is a theater in Avon, and it was a pretty good, But with COVID, they kind of shut everything down again after the summer. So then they didn't really have a way to follow back up. We did Crackers Comedy at the beginning of 2020.
Yes.
And we sold out Crackers on a Thursday, but then COVID shut it down. And, and then after that, we started back up at a bar called the Checkered Flag. Yeah. And the Checkered Flag was a good bar. It would have to be a free show. And it wasn't, it was just a bar. So it wasn't like something we wanted to follow up with. So it's really more the COVID has gotten in the way of really finding a home in Indy. But everywhere else, it's running great. We're at 21st in Germantown down in Louisville, and they've been very helpful. They've been very good. And the Louisville crowd is always very cool. I'm looking forward to get down there on the 4th.
Awesome. Yeah, Louisville's a great area. I've done a couple of conventions down there, and the crowds have always been really good. So
what conventions do you do? Tell me about these conventions.
I've done 2 different conventions. The Days of the Dead, which is a horror movie convention. And then I did the Haunters Against Hate convention, which is an organization that promotes inclusiveness and acceptance, mainly LGBTQ, but in all facets, religion, race, religion, sexual orientation, sexual, gender identity, whatever. Just, and
for people in the haunted house industry.
Yes. They call themselves haunters, not actors. They call themselves haunters. And I did my first convention with them last summer, and it was amazing. It was, picture being in a room just filled with people, just love and happiness and joy and just excited to be together, because of COVID. You're right. That's really kind of affected a lot of things, and people were just excited to be together, and
scare the shit out of everybody.
We had Edgar Allan Poe stopped by to recite some of his poetry and discuss his life, there was a character competition where people, they judged the best character. People came in the costume of their character from their haunted attraction. It was great. It was fun.
What's weird is this. Check this out. I'm from Baltimore, and that's where Edgar Allan Poe died.
Yeah.
And they're that house is, and he's buried, and all of that kind of stuff. And I've been to the Poe house, and I've been, that was kind of a tradition we had to go through. And you go down there, you see where he's buried. And the truth is the Baltimore Ravens, the football team, are so named because of Edgar Allan Poe.
That makes sense.
They have 3 mascots. There's Edgar, Allan, and obviously Poe. And so that's like they're pretty dedicated to the Edgar Allan Poe. So that's not much has really changed in Baltimore. Everybody still winds up dying of heroin there, but it's still a great tradition to have. Except for the heroin part. You're talking about Poe, not dying on it.
Yeah.
Well, also the hometown of John Waters. Hello.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. And Divine, I believe, is from there. It's his star.
Yes.
In fact, he had a lot of his, most of his you know, his biggest film, I believe, was Cry Baby. That was filmed in Ellicott City, which is right outside of Baltimore, and it was at this cool place called the Enchanted Forest. It was one of these old like back in the day before there were like huge amusement parks. It was like, you know, a small amusement park where they had like all the fantasy characters and like paper mache statues and stuff like that. And that was where he filmed a lot of that. So John Waters is a big part of Baltimore, and his stuff has always been like you know, that's his Baltimore everything. Poe, Waters. It's a quirky town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One day soon, maybe there'll be a sign that says, you know, home of Brad Rigler. You never know. I mean,
well, my name is up places, but normally it's just like wanted or a bill collector or something. We'll get there.
I'm there with you.
For a good time call and a bathroom stall.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on what your idea of a good time is, but you can call.
You'll give it a whirl, but you know.
You know, hey, you know, what is one man's trash, another man's treasure. Give me a ring. That's my line.
There you go.
So what happened with you becoming a comedian in Indianapolis specifically? What's your origin story, sir?
Well, yeah, so I've always been a performer or, you know, a producer. And, you know, I started acting. I began as acting, you know, theater and school, whatnot. The first time I ever really found any sort of thing that I really realized I was enjoyed doing was in theater. And that was when I guess I was about a sophomore in high school. And, you know, I just fell in love with it to the point that I didn't want to do anything else. So I went away right out of high school, like a month. I went to the American Musical Dramatic Academy in New York, and it was more of a conservatory than college. It wasn't even college. It was just straight conservatory. I just wanted to be an actor. That's it. And so I did acting and all of that stuff. And as you know, as years waned, I went back to college. But then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go and be in journalism. So I went into became a journalist, and I love the idea of editing and creating stories. It was like kind of like being you're a storyteller, and I loved that. I was on the radio and did that sort of thing. And I've always been one way or the other producing videos and creating these things, whether it be theater, whether it be journalism, whether it be documentary, whatever. I've always been a performer. And as such, I've always wanted to do stand-up. But of all the things, I've done it all. I've done everything. And like, you know, from DJs and all that kind of stuff, anything. I would do it. I wasn't worried about anything except stand-up. I was always scared to death of that. Was always like, I'd get up. I don't care. I'd get up in front of any group. I mean, I ran for political office. I didn't care. And like, I didn't care. But stand-up was the one area I was just intimidated. And, you know, when we moved to Indy, I was like, you know, I thought about it in the last place. We were in Columbus, Ohio. But unfortunately, the big comedy club there only had an open mic like once every 3 months.
Ooh,
so it was just never happening.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so it wasn't happening. And then I remember we moved to Indy. We were, the first time we were down in Indy, we pull up to, we are at Wild Eggs downtown in the morning. And we got done eating breakfast, and I walked out. The first time I was in Indy, and I saw there was the sign for crackers across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do it anywhere, it's going to be at Crackers. You know what I mean? Like, that's just crazy that there's a club called Crackers. I was like, that's just meant to be, because Crackers sounds like a place you'd find a guy like me. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I really did. I felt that. So I went down, and I was just very intimidated by it, because it's hard to get into all but it's always been nothing intimidated me at all when it came to performance except stand up. And so I went and I watched them do it, the open mic one night, and I was like, okay, I can do this after seeing them. And I was like, and I did. I went up, I did the 3 minutes, And I got bit. And then I started the process of getting into it. And for me, it didn't have any sort of, I would say there were certain advantages I had with obviously being able to be used to being in a crowd. I didn't have any sort of, fear of speaking in front of an audience.
Yeah.
And I knew somewhat about projection and being able to enunciate the fact that people could hear me.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there wasn't much else that I had going for me, as other than I knew how to learn as a performer, and I knew the patience that was required. And those are really the biggest things, because if you have, if you are a performer or an artist of any kind, you realize that what people make look like they're just doing is actually very hard work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of training, a lot of time, a lot of all these things. And so I was aware of that. I didn't come with the delusion that every comedian was just a funny person who happened to get up there and just started being funny, and that's it. That was not, I knew that there was going to be a long time, a lot of work. So I wasn't discouraged by that. And I wasn't needing that instant gratification of having to do a great job. And I was willing and ready to accept having a lot of, not very good performances to get to where, to get to the next level, and understanding constantly leveling up. And it was, so that learning process really helped me, kind of dig through it. And so I started going to all the mics, and mic after mic after mic, making mistake after mistake after mistake, and going back and then I continued to watch other shows. That's another big thing that I kept doing, not only doing it every chance I got, but also watching shows and watching how people who already were successful were doing it. And I said to myself, and I started to level up, and got in over at Crackers, and I finally got a host after over a year of going. They finally gave me a host weekend. First weekend hosting, bombed like, I mean, annihilation. First time oh my God. And it was like, I still think of it, get embarrassed. The only thing is, this is how you get the big positive. The best part about that experience is the only thing they didn't feel was apathy, right? There was no apathy.
Really? Wow.
They hated. It wasn't like they did not they didn't love me. They hated. Right? And so, but you see, again, as a performer, I knew that was good. I was like, okay, good. Apathy is the enemy. Apathy is what you want. You don't want people not to care. So like, I was touching a nerve. I just said, okay, now I just have to learn how to touch it better. Touch it different.
Oh,
To make them laugh, not make them angry and get the pitchforks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm touching, I'm in there, but like, I need to figure out how am I gonna, because they wouldn't clap if I was like, I got kids, right? Like, anybody got kids? Well, I've got 2 children, and like crickets. I heard the sound of a cell phone charging. It was quiet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, they don't like me. And like everybody, I mean, it was silent. And like, then, there's like certain things people say when they're on stage, like I'd introduced the feature. I brought the feature up, and the feature usually says something. When you introduce somebody, they usually bring somebody on stage and go, okay, hey, let's let's hear it for Brad. Let's clap for him. Nothing.
Oh.
Even politely after I was off stage.
Ouch.
Nothing.
Ouch.
And so I was like, okay, so this is day 1 of all, but think about it, it was a year.
After a year.
Oh.
I'd worked to get there. A year I'd worked to get there. And it's like, you finally leveled up. Guess what? Now you're at the absolute bottom of the pile.
I get that.
You have not succeeded. You've just reached another level at which you can fail. And it was like, okay. So then you start leveling up from there, and you learn, and you fight through it, and you start every chance I got, though, I leveled up. I tried to work harder, and we've gotten different places. I can say now, 2 years later, I finally figured out what I need to do to level up again. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so
Uh-huh.
it's like and so like I was like, oh, okay, here's what I'm missing. And it's been and that's the trick. That's the puzzle that you're putting together and like again, without having the experience and the background as a performer before and artist before all this, that would be incredibly daunting to someone who had no idea
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then and I mean like an understanding that so it's just the understanding, knowing what the most you can know in this world is how little you know. And
Yes.
I understood that there was a long road that this wasn't going to be easy, and that was the biggest thing I got over. But and also I guess the lack of humility, or just hey, they call it eating shit on stage. And God, I've had several helpings. My God, just start to it's like I don't know, like G. Gordon Lee was asked, like he does a trick at a party where he takes he lights a match and he takes his fingers and he squeezes the match out with his fingers, and they say, "What's the trick? What's the trick? Obviously it looks like that burns." So they're like, "What's the trick?" And he goes, "Not minding." And
Gotcha.
and so that's the
Okay.
idea, is like, what's the trick to getting through all that pain? What's the truth? What's the trick to getting over that humiliation, public humiliation? It's not minding, it's accepting. It's like, okay, we're gonna eat this shit. God knows what it's gonna be. And I've made it through. One of the ways that helped and helped in one way, not knowing it's not my town. I don't have any people here.
Yeah.
And so that sucks to a certain degree, because as far as drawing on people to like, hey, come and see me, hey, support me, hey, I don't have that. But it's also good, because if I fail and fall flat on my face night after night, who's gonna know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna know. It's just me.
Totally
And
get
so it's like it is like that. So, and like obviously over the years things have gotten better, and improvements have been made, and each level up gets stronger and stronger. And so now I'm at Crackers regularly. I'm at and the Gutties Comedy Club regularly, and the Rose Ford Championship tours all over. I'm able to do podcasts like this one, and have great friends
yeah.
along the way. So it's a journey, but it's exactly that. It's not an easy journey, but it's an exciting one.
So your best advice would be just to grab a spoon, eat the shit, and work through it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, have respect for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Have respect for what you're doing, and say, look, if you think that you are ready, if you think the only difference between you and Bill Burr is the fact that guy happens to have a kid, that he, for whatever reason, maybe he's got an agent or something, and that's the only difference between him and you, then you shouldn't be a comic. That guy's been doing it 30 years. He's and usually in a city that he could go up 5-6 times a night, and then bang, 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 bang. And he's done all that. And so their speed that they go through these processes, you just got to figure, anytime you go down a creative path, you should not expect it to be anything but hard, because if it were easy, everybody would do it.
Oh yeah,
True.
exactly.
True. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you can learn just as much from your good performances as much as your bad ones. Every time you go up, it's a learning experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, here's my trick. This is talking about, The Secret. You ever remember the book, The Secret?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you think positive. I'm the opposite of The Secret. Okay, I'm living the opposite of The Secret, right? I'm like that. I am, because like, you know what? My trick to having the best performance. You talk about learning from you learn more from your bad than your good. Here's the trick with me. I never, all of my best performances never recorded. So if I'm going to go and have a great show, and I'm like, I got this show's got to be good. I got to do good for this time. I won't record it, and it'll kill.
Interesting. Yes, I like that.
So, and it's just like, it's just like there can't be any proof. So, and so like that way, it's like, that's why I said this last show, it actually started off, I was doing an opening for a guy at Crackers. He actually had a big house, Guy was on Bob and Tom all the time. Cool guy. And Saturday show was packed. You know, it's because of COVID, things have been a little crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, great. We need to have a big show. And so I just walked out. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna record this one. And boom, blew the doors off the place.
Of course.
Of course. No proof. No proof.
No proof. It happened though, and I'm telling you now. Okay, cool. So here's the trick with understanding why that happened. Obviously, you know, it's not really like some. Maybe there is some cosmic force at work, but at the same time, the truth is that it's a mental trick, because the less stress, I figure I'm not watching me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I figure whatever's happening up there, I'm not thinking about like, oh, this is going to be on camera and blah, 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 blah. I'm figuring, okay,
Yes.
nobody's ever going to see this. So I'm just going to be myself. And the more authentic you are, the more relaxed you are,
Yep.
the more fun you have. And so like, I was like, oh, hell with it. This is just for us. And that's it. Every show should just be for us.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so God knows, I mean, you know, it is. And so that's been the trick ever since. Just chilling and rocking at Crackers and at Gutties. Also crowd work. That's been the big thing, is just incorporating, you know, the difference between watching something on television and being live in a club.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You want to be a part of it. You want to feel, and the only way for people to feel like they're in there for real is if they are being spoken to. So I started talking to everybody. So as opposed to me going up and doing, you know, of my act, I go up and I just start asking questions. And I just ask people questions, like, you know, and I talk, and then those answers either allow me to improv a new bit, or to segue into a pre-written bit.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's been that's another tool that I use to really, you know, open it up and have a great show. And so like, those are the things that have really been happening. Also, I forgot, this Saturday, I'm in Franklin, Indiana. Tyson Cox is headlining, and a kid named Don Mason, who's really been making things happen a little bit on the scene. He runs a room up there. So I'm going to be on that show in Franklin this Saturday.
Saturday.
And so I'm looking forward to doing that. Other than the fact that Tyson Cox is the headliner. Yeah. Point is, you can just hang out with me, and it's all good. But Tyson will be headlining, and I think he's getting warmed up because he has his album recording happening at Helium. I bought my ticket for the first show, and so I think this is a warm-up performance. So he'll be there, and this kid Don Mason is running the show in Franklin. I think it's a free show, so you don't got to get, you'll be able to kind of get a preview of what the album recording will be. And so we'll be up there at Franklin, and then the next Friday, not this Friday, the 4th, I'm going to be in Louisville, and then I'll be back at Crackers and Gutties. And Gutties is another one. Like, Crackers is staying open. Crackers is keeping alive, but Gutties has really come on strong recently. Steve Rivera, that's his baby. It's his project. And, obviously Dennis Tooley, Pops, is really, he's the heart and soul of that place. So and every show I've been there, every show I've done has gotten better and better every time. So like, there's something happening at Gutties. I definitely recommend you go check that out. And you got to support Crackers because it is the hometown mom and pop club.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot on your plate. I mean, a lot on your plate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much, and a big bowl of shit somewhere waiting with my name on it.
Grab a spoon, man. Put some sprinkles on it.
Right.
Call it a day, man. It's out
there. You know why?
there.
Because and eating shit is the reason why John Waters is famous.
Okay, you totally went auto-tune
that?
on John Waters, and it worked. It worked so beautifully. We're keeping that one in because it was perfect.
his first first film is most famous because of a performer, Divine. It was a trans pioneer, as a matter of fact. And Divine, in the first, that's his first underground film. His big thing is Divine eats dog shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Literal dog
And
shit.
so-
Yes.
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
So that's what we call wrapping it all together. You see what I did there?
There
Yep.
you go.
Oh.
Up. And there you go.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
Yeah, let's go ahead and probably just kind of wrap this up.
Yeah,
We
because
can
we're
always
kind
have
of.
you back. I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
definitely. Have you
know, it's
back
not
when
like
you're
I
not.
don't know you.
Yeah.
You can come back and talk to
When
us.
I'm not
It's all
mobile.
good.
Yeah. Have you back when you're not a
know,
comedian
I
in
mean,
a car.
like, listen. Well, listen. Let me tell you though, it's been fun though, right? Have I not
Yeah.
been fun?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we're having fun with this.
Hysterical.
Yeah,
That's
what
why
I'm
we
saying.
got to have you back when we
Yeah,
got a
come on
better
back.
connection, man. Got to
I'd
have you
love
back
to.
when we got
I
a
had
better
fun, too.
connection.
Oh, a
Absolutely.
quick bit of trivia of John Waters and Pink Flamingos. I actually happened to be able to
Pink Flamingos.
see the 25th anniversary of the showing of Pink Flamingos in the theaters in San Francisco in the historical Castro Theater with a bunch of drag queens. So that was like one of the
Wow,
highlights
that's
of my
been
life.
wild.
That was one of the highlights of my
That would have
life.
been an event.
So
That's awesome.
there you go.
He
So
wants
on
that
the-
on his tombstone. I went to see.
I was there. It was there.
I was there.
So anyway, this has been, of course, Brad Rigler,
Yes.
local legend.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Go see him doing the stand-up. Got the Roast War Championships. Look up his profile, Facebook. What else you got on Twitter, Instagram, the whole nine?
Everything's at Roast War Champ, at Roast War Champ. On all forms of social media, just put at Roast War Champ or at roastwarchamp.com. And that's the best way to connect with me. And like I said, or come down and see me at Crackers or Gutties. Usually every weekend I'm at one or the other.
All right.
You
And then
got
you
it.
got the roast war coming up in Lexington.
No,
No, Louisville.
Louisville.
Louisville. You've got the
Different.
roast
Queen
war
City.
coming up in Louisville on March 4th.
Yes, right.
So-
You got it.
All
Okay.
right. So we'll have links down in our description for YouTube on all of that.
Yeah, we'll have links. We'll get this
Yeah.
all edited and put up as ASAP. And that way we can all get in on all things Brad Rigler.
Yes,
All good.
definitely.
I'm
Definitely.
really looking forward to seeing it. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Hey,
Hey, no
thanks
problem,
for
man.
being here, man.
And you never know, somebody
right.
might show up on a Saturday and tell you that you suck. Who knows?
Well, that's a good. I think it's a pretty strong possibility. I put my money on it.
On that note,
On that note, of course, Brad Rigler. Hey,
Brad Rigler. Yeah. Thanks, man.
we'll let
Go
you
sell your
know.
solar panels.
If you want to just show up and say, hey, let's do it, we'll just do it.
Yeah.
All
Yeah. We'll
good.
get you in.
All right.
All right.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
man.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I'm trying to do this without my glasses. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right. So that was the man, the myth, the legend, Brad Rigler.
Yes.
And of course the cameo by Spooky, who cannot resist being on camera.
Yes.
We have I've actually talked this guy into taking a vacation, so we have a few days that we're going to take to ourselves, and then we'll be back with more interviews. We're hoping to get the movie reviews done. Maybe we'll do one of the movie reviews while you're on vacation.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll let him do that. But other than that, we will be back with more stuff. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, we keep telling
down
like
below.
and subscribe down below. Please do it.
Please.
We keep forgetting.
We
to
keep
do
forgetting
that.
to ask you to subscribe, but I feel in my heart that you would love us enough to just go ahead and do it. But for those of you that need a reminder,
Exactly. That
Down below.
is a argument pro and against, because some people it's like, yeah, I do it and do it right away. And then people are like, I'll get to that.
yeah,
I'll flow them. Then
Yeah.
they don't.
so don't forget.
So there you go.
All right. So until next time, bye.